You know, we all face this choice, sometimes every single day. Do we follow the crowd down the easy, well-worn path? Or do we trust a compass that points us somewhere harder, maybe even lonelier? This is a story about that choice and the devastating cost of getting it wrong. Our story kicks off way back in 1923, off the California coast. We're in a really treacherous patch of water, a place with a nickname that tells you everything you need to know, the Devil's Jaw. And navigating through a thick, disorienting fog is a squadron of 9 brand new, top-of-the-line U.S. Navy destroyers. I mean, these ships were the best of the best. Now, they are plowing through the water at 20 knots, which is incredibly fast for these conditions. But hey, they're not worried. Why would they be? These are veteran commanders, guys with decades of experience under their belts. They're totally confident. But that confidence is about to be shattered. In just a few minutes, 7 of these 9 incredible warships are going to be nothing but wreckage, smashed to pieces on the rocks. And this was the moment it all went wrong. You see, they had a new navigation device, and it was screaming a warning that they were way off course. But did they listen? Nope. The commanders actually held a meeting and voted. They decided their collective experience, their gut feeling, had to be right. The machine, it must be broken. This event goes down in history as the Honda Point disaster. It's one of the worst peacetime naval accidents in all of U.S. history. And really, it's a chilling lesson in just how dangerous misplaced confidence and, well, groupthink can be. So let's just break this down. On one side, you have these incredibly experienced commanders. They're using their maps, their instincts, the way it's always been done. But on the other side, you have this brand new piece of technology, a wireless direction finder, and it's basically shouting, "Warning, you are way off course." But their shared experience had never failed them before, so they make a fatal assumption. The technology has to be the thing that's wrong. They chose to ignore the cold, hard data that would have saved every single one of them. Now, you might be thinking, okay, a naval disaster, tragic, but what's the connection? Well, what's so wild is that this exact same dynamic, a super confident crowd choosing their gut feeling over a difficult truth, played out thousands of years earlier in the court of an ancient king. All right, so let's jump back in time to the story of King Ahab of Israel. He is dead set on going to war to take back a city called Ramoth-Gilead. But here's the thing, he's not actually looking for guidance. He's looking for justification, a green light for a decision he's already made in his head. See, Ahab didn't want real advice. He wanted a rubber stamp. So what does he do? He completely stacks the deck. He gathers a crowd of 400 prophets. He's basically setting up a classic showdown. This massive, agreeable crowd versus the tiny possibility of one single person who might disagree. And wouldn't you know it, it works perfectly. All 400 prophets, they sing the exact same tune, in perfect, reassuring harmony. They promise him an easy, glorious victory. It was literally music to his ears, exactly what he wanted to hear. But this perfect agreement, it just felt a little off to Ahab's ally, King Jehoshaphat. I mean, think about it. A 400-0 vote on anything sounds a little too good to be true, right? So he asks this simple but powerful question that hangs in the air. Isn't there anyone else? And Ahab's answer here is just, wow, it's so revealing. He says, yeah, there's this one other guy, a prophet named Micaiah. But he says, I hate him. And why? Not because Micaiah's ever wrong. No, it's because he always tells the inconvenient, unpopular truth. So you can imagine Ahab is not happy about it. But he summons Micaiah, and when Micaiah shows up, he delivers a message that doesn't just poke a hole in the consensus, it blows it to smithereens. Micaiah doesn't come in with his own hot take or a different interpretation. No, he does something much more powerful. He pulls back the curtain on a stunning vision he received from a heavenly council, showing everyone what's really going on behind the scenes. He starts by describing the ultimate source of authority, something far above any king or court full of prophets. He's immediately reframing the whole situation, basically saying, hey, king, you're not the highest power in this room. And this is where the story takes a terrifying turn. In Micaiah's vision, the whole point of this war was never about victory for Ahab. It was a trap designed for the single purpose of luring the king to his own death. And there it is.
This is the origin story for that perfect, unified, feel-good message from the 400 prophets. Their consensus wasn't a sign of truth at all. It was the product of a powerful deception, a lie specifically designed to lead Ahab straight into disaster.
Now, this clash between the lone truth teller and the deceiving crowd, this isn't just some one-off ancient story. It's a powerful pattern, a kind of blueprint that you see play out again and again all throughout history. You can actually trace this lineage of truth tellers. Centuries after Micaiah, you have the prophet Jeremiah, standing all alone against a chorus of voices promising a false sense of peace right before a major invasion. And later, of course, you have Jesus Christ himself, confronting the entire religious establishment of his day, speaking a hard truth that threatened their power.
So it all boils down to this, doesn't it? We're constantly choosing between two kinds of voices. First, there's the echo. The echo tells you what you want to hear. It's popular, it's reassuring, it feels great in the moment. Then there's the compass. The compass tells you where you need to go. It's often a lonely voice, it can be really hard to listen to, but it's the only one that actually guides you to safety.
Think about it. Both the expert sailors and the powerful king, they chose the echo. The sailors listened to the echo of their own shared pride and confidence. King Ahab listened to the flattering echo of 400 voices telling him he was a winner. And in both cases, they sailed straight into disaster.
But the truth tellers, people like Micaiah, Jeremiah, and Jesus, they chose the compass. They followed the difficult, deeply unpopular, but ultimately life-giving truth. They followed it even when it meant they'd be rejected, thrown in prison, or even killed.
And that brings this whole ancient question right into our lives today. When the comforting, loud echo of the crowd conflicts with the quiet, difficult reading of the compass, which voice are you and I going to follow?